2023. This is the Select Board of the Town of Bolton. First up on our agenda is the consideration of application of the International Beverage Service Company, LLC, for the change of manager to Mr. Tony Giannett of Holyoke, Massachusetts, for the existing annual all club alcoholic beverages license at the International, 159 Ballville Road. Kelly Cardozo, Avalon Consulting, are you with us?
Yes,
Kelly, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
Doing well, thank you. Doing well.
So, as you know, my name is Kelly Durfee Cardoza. I'm with Avalon Consulting Group, and I'm representing the International Beverage Service Company. Mr. Tony Giannetti is with me. He's a member of the club's Executive Operating Committee and the club's Director of Membership. The International Beverage Service Company holds an all-club alcoholic license at the International. The former manager is no longer with the company, and so we're here seeking your approval as the local licensing authority to institute Mr. Giannetti as the manager for the liquor license.
Okay. Sounds good to me. I have no questions. Bob, do you?
Just have all the forms and fees been paid to the town administrator?
Yes,
All the paperwork, all the required paperwork is in order.
Then I have no issues. So I will then make a motion.
I'll take a motion to approve.
I will make a motion to approve the change of manager at the International Beverage Service Company, LLC, to Mr. Tony Giannetti.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right.
great. Thank you very much.
Well, welcome to Bolton, Mr. Giannetti.
thank you very much.
Yes, good luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have a number of sign approvals. The first one is for 1092 Main Street for a company called Decket. Do we have anyone attending from that organization?
So the sign company called me yesterday and said that a representative from the business would not be here today, but they told me that someone from Signorama would be here. They didn't
Okay.
tell me a name, but I don't see anyone in the audience. Somebody's just joining. Let's see if this is the right person. Alyssa, are you here from Signorama? Maybe not.
Alyssa, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're muted. Alyssa, are you from Signorama? I have a chat that says, yes, I am. Can you speak to us, Alyssa? My microphone isn't working. I'm trying. Okay. All right. I will, I guess I will do the interpreting here.
Well, I mean, the sign looks fine. I mean, we have a picture of it, and I think it fits within the requirements of signage. I guess they just putting on the front where all the other signs are.
Yeah, I don't see any, I don't have any issues with the sign. It seems to conform to all of our requirements. So I will make a motion to approve the sign for Decket at 1092 Main Street.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
next
well,
up.
thanks for showing up, Alyssa. Sorry
Thank you,
sorry it
thank
didn't
you.
work out better.
Sorry.
Have a good
No,
night.
that's most of the battle. So
Yeah,
that's great. Next up is a request for a 626 Main Street, Bolton Dance Studio, change the sign wording, Robert Di Benedetto.
Hello there. Can you hear me?
Good evening, how are you this evening?
Very good.
Yes,
Great. Yes, I'm Robert Di Benedetto. This is my wife, Monique Dorian.
you've been before us before, haven't you?
so I guess you were, yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it was Bolton Dance Studio, and you want it to be center now?
It was
Main Street Dance Center, and now it will be
Okay.
Bolton Dance Center.
Okay. And that's just basically the only change, everything else is pretty much the same,
Yes.
okay?
All right, well, I will move to approve the change in the name of the sign at 626 Main Street to Bolton Dance Studio.
Bolton Dance Center.
Bolton Dance Center, sorry,
Yes.
yes.
I was reading the wrong piece of paper.
No worries.
It's okay.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye,
Aye,
Roll call, Sikansky,
aye,
Waisaki.
aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Great. Next up, is-
thank you.
thank you, yes, good luck. Another sign at 626 Main Street. Request for a sign, 626 Yoga. 6x4 sign on the building, and in addition to the existing signboard. Frank Patterson, are you with us? Hey, Frank, how are you?
Good, Stan. How you doing?
Good, good, good.
You can
So
hear
we
me?
see- Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Um, do you have an actual sign or what you have here is just sort of a, something that you scribbled on a picture? Yeah,
You know, what? Yeah, that was last minute. So
actual picture of the sign or,
I don't have an actual picture of the sign. It's basically like the other signs that I have on the building, nature and nurture sign. To be honest, I'm waiting to, figure it out, but it's gonna be the same white plastic board with the white trim, respectable, just like the one on the front. But we're just trying to figure out the best size and I haven't
Okay.
got nothing to do it.
Are you gonna use the same font as
Okay.
the other signs rather?
But the font will be the same on the marquee in the front on 117. And the one on the back, it's gonna be, the font on the front will be just what we put on there. Yoga 626 and then Yoga Hot Pilates on the sideboard. And
Okay,
then the sign on the back of the building will be, the background will be a light blue and the lettering will be in white.
okay?
yeah, if there's no other ornamentation, I think that'll be fine.
Yeah, nothing else. That's all.
Yeah, now, Frank, I recall that on you had one extension, I think it was coffee that was sort of on a side.
Yeah, that was on the front.
And I don't know if I did notice if you replaced that after the sign got.
So we
So
haven't.
you
replaced
want
it
the,
yet. We haven't replaced the coffee on the front box yet because the boys are waiting until they open the restaurant. They may put something different in that one instead of coffee.
okay. All right, so
So they'll apply for
you
that
want
when
the
they
yoga and
open
hot
their
Pilates
restaurant.
on the other side. Okay. All right, I'm okay with that. Bob, are you all
Yeah.
right with it?
Yeah, so I will make a motion to
Okay.
approve at 626 Main Street, a 6x4 foot sign for 626 Yoga on the building, and in addition to the existing signboard as presented in the package for tonight.
Excellent. I promise it'll be respectable.
Okay, I'll second that. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye. Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank
Thanks,
you, Mr.
Frank.
Patterson.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for all you guys do, and lady. Take care.
Take care. Mike. All right, next up is Department of Public Works update. First is the library sewer repair project. Randy, are you with us?
He is with us.
Maybe not.
I saw him in there a second ago.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, he's there. He's just being shy.
Well, I know I'm having trouble internet wise, so maybe he is as well.
Yeah, me too as well. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Maybe you can't hear me.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I
We can
can't
hear
see
you.
you, but that's okay. So we'll figure out something here. All right.
So you want to give us the
Thank you
new
very
news of the library
first,
sewer?
thank you for inviting me this evening.
Sure.
As you know, we've had a long-standing problem at the library with the wastewater.
Am I the only one not hearing him?
Yeah,
Did we
Randy,
lose-
you dropped out.
He said he's gonna try to log in again.
Okay,
Yeah, I have almost no signal. So something's going on.
Yeah, Stan, you're definitely going in and out, but we're able to
Yeah.
follow you.
This is not good.
all right, he's back again.
Can you
We
hear me
see you,
now?
Randy.
All
Hey,
right.
Randy.
That's a little bit more successful anyway. Starting again. Thank you very much for making the time tonight to discuss a couple of projects going on. As you are all aware, we have a fairly significant wastewater issue at the library. It's been going on for a number of years, and last year we decided to proceed with design for the repair of the project, which involves replacing the sewer line under the floor of the building and relocating it outside the building. We hired an engineer. We put the project out for bid, put the specs together, put it out for bid. We received no bids, no interest. There was some of the specs did go out. We received no feedback from them, and we received no bids. This past winter, when I was dealing with a insurance claim at the public safety building, I happened to mention to our adjuster about the problems at the library. And he says, "Oh, maybe we can solve that for you. We can help you, or we can help you with it." It's okay. So they had their general contractor look at the projects along with their subs, plumbers, demolition people, etc., restoration people. And they presented a price to the town Our portion of the cost would be about $84,000. $184,000, excuse me, about $100,000 more than what we had anticipated. So we're looking, if we want to proceed with this project, going to need an additional appropriation. One of the things, I'd like to say about the project, it's in the eyes of a general contractor, it's a pretty small project. And there's no real money to be made by any one specific trade. And there's a number of trades involved in this project. There's the plumbers, there's the general contractor, there's an excavating company for outside the building, there's painters, there is carpenters, there is tile, flooring people, tile and carpet. And each one of these small components, there's not a lot. In fact, the general contractor for the insurance company did not like the first price that they got from the first plumber. And they went to different plumbers to try and get a better price, which they ended up doing. But it's still a scary project, scary high project. I was flabbergasted when I received what the town's portion of the project would be. There are a couple of advantages to proceeding down this route. Again, I mentioned there's so many trades involved that the profit margins, magnify upon each other. This general contractor, it's not big enough for any kind of a general contractor that wants to take on a small project. We would have to go through the bidding process again. We are paying prevailing wage that is required. So we would pay the contractor prevailing wage. All the work would be coordinated through the insurance company's general contractor, who is insured, and portion of the cost, I think it's around $25,000 of the project is going to be covered by the town's insurance company. And everybody looks frozen. So I don't know if I
No,
No, you're
lost
fine.
signal again or not.
no, shock and awe. That's all it is. So basically what you're saying is we have to find another.
Okay, no,
Close to 100 grand.
Yes, that's what he's saying. $184,000 plus a 10% contingency line is what he's recommending.
I didn't catch your question.
No, I basically we've got about $100,000 allocated for this. We need almost another $100,000 is what you're telling us.
You need almost $105,000.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
it's-
didn't hear your question.
The exact number is $103,115.
All right, well, we're not going to find that.
An
in the short
additional
term.
appropriation of 100.
Yeah, we can't hear you, Randy.
If Randy had completed that sentence, the number that we reviewed this morning in our meeting was $103,115.
I'm not, I don't have,
All right, well, we're not going to be finding that kind of money anytime soon, so we're going to have to. This is either going to have to be some, I would assume, article on some warrant at some point in time.
You would either make an additional appropriation through ARPA, which is what I assumed we would do tonight,
All right,
or it would need to be an article at a future town meeting.
okay. Well, I mean, I'm assuming we have funds that we can tap from ARPA, correct?
We do. Randy and Nachka and I got together this morning, and based on the meeting we had this morning, assuming you approve this for ARPA funds, we would still have a little under $300,000 remaining in ARPA funds.
I mean, is there one or more areas where the basically the cost is double? Where are the pain points here?
I did not get a breakdown. I requested a breakdown from the contractor. It was kind of extremely hard to follow. It wasn't a typical breakdown that we typically see. We provided them a listing or a breakdown of how we broke up the project. And they did supply, looking for it here.
This is a lot of money. But
It's an awful lot of money.
When we went to do this on our own, we got no responses at all. And at least now we've got someone bonded. We've got the insurance company overseeing it. Presumably, if there's any more issues, the insurance company is going to have some responsibility. And it's painful, but if we pass up this opportunity, there's no guarantee those prices are going to go down.
I'm not suggesting we don't do the work. It just seems to be quite amazing that the price has doubled. Now,
Well, I don't know what we based the price on before.
I don't know either, but I would have to assume that we brought in someone to do some estimation. Did we not done, or did we just do this on our own?
No, Randy spoke with tradespeople to try to get a sense for where it would come in, and we believed it was a reasonable estimate. When Randy showed me the figure of $184,000, my first question to him was, well, how much of that is our responsibility? And he said that is our responsibility. That's how surprised I was, along with Randy. But you can see where costs are escalating all over the place. It's extremely hard to forecast pricing these days. It's just crazy. Between material costs and contractors having a lot of work to do. And as Randy said, when they start bidding on it, there's no chunk that is particularly large for any one trade discipline here. So, and it's a relatively small job for a lot of contractors. So we're kind of at their mercy, I think, right now.
You'll sometimes see when they're flush with work, contractors will sometimes give you a high price because they'd rather spend their time someplace else. Again, this is a small job for many trades.
Well, I guess we can talk about it at some other point in time. I'm fine to authorize the money, but given the fact that it's the drainage pipe that's difficulty, why is it that we have to tear up the bathroom? Because I'm hearing carpet, I'm hearing tile, and all that kind of stuff. Why aren't they just digging outside and tapping from the existing pipe to the new, and not disturbing the bathroom at all?
Randy?
Couple of things. The original cost that I got was from the designer that the town hired, who was the original mechanical plumbing designer for the building. We hired him, and he's the original estimate of the $100,000. The reason they have to excavate the floor is because the sewer line, it's a slab on grade, and the sewer line settled under the slab. There is no access from below, and the settlement is in the building. There's actually two areas of significant settlement. One of them is in the hallway between the program room and the library, between the two bathrooms. There's a settlement there. The second settlement we found was between the technology closet and the library director's office is under that floor. Both of them are under the slab. So the cheapest and most effective way of getting at it is to cut the slab, relay that pipe, and bring the pipe directly outside. So we're minimizing this from happening again by removing a whole bunch of, 3/4 of the building with underground piping under the slab with no access.
Okay. Well, I mean, I'm fine. We need to get it done. So if we need to tap into ARPA money, let's just do that. I'm fine with that.
All right.
I don't like it, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm not happy about this either, but it's got to get done. I move to authorize an additional $115 of ARPA money for the library project.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
I,
Thank you.
Roll call, Sikansky,
I,
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
all
Aye.
right, thank you, Randy.
No, for the record,
Thanks,
I was
Randy.
shocked at the number as well. So for the
Yeah.
record,
Yeah, that was definite shock and awe.
Well, some of the other things I've heard in the last day or two that doesn't surprise me about all this stuff. So yeah, it is what it is, unfortunately. All right, next up is an update and a little discussion on the pay-as-you-throw transition from the stickers to the bags. I know that is in process.
yeah, we're still
Back,
proceeding.
what, early February? With
We're still proceeding down the path from the guidance provided to the board to transition fully for July 1st. Residents have been turning in stickers and we've been swapping them out for bags. We are in the process of ordering signage that will be posted, saying that after July 1st, that only color green and orange bags would be permitted.
Okay,
Are you seeing any particular issues, Randy, right now?
The staff has had some feedback from the residents, nothing extraordinary and nothing out of the ordinary that I can report as being, but the residents are having some difficulty understanding why they can't use their stickers, use them up. But we're working through it. The staff is being good about it, and they're swapping the stickers and saying they're just working with the rules that have been provided.
Yeah. I think it's fair to say the single biggest pushback we get, or not pushback, that sounds strong. The single biggest question we get is why can't people use their stickers beyond July 1st before they transition to bags?
Well, I mean, it's pretty simple. We want to have a cutoff date so that the folks at the transfer station, the DPW workers, definitely know that it's the residents that are using the bags. And we did this a while ago, and it is, I mean, in a couple of days it's going to be April 1st, and between April 1st and July 1st is 3 months. And individuals can use their stickers up and through July 1st. So I think there's plenty of time for everybody to make the swap if they need to make the swap towards the end. I mean, this is not like we're telling people you can't do anything tomorrow.
Right.
So
Jenny and Kristen have done a very good job explaining that to people.
Yeah. We've also had a couple of individuals, and one individual wrote a letter to us about contractor bags or 42-gallon bags. I had Jenny research, and I don't have it with me at the moment, but the original intent for the 2 stickers was green was for a 13-gallon, typically a white trash bag, a kitchen trash bag, and the orange sticker was for a 30 to 33-gallon, larger bag. And that was on a document that she provided to me. I think it was back from 2006 or 2009. So there was never any intent to allow any wide range of bag size, and certainly not 42-gallon contractor bags. And I don't think we as long as we've had the program, those were the 2 size bags that we would allow with the 2 stickers. So if people were using larger contractor bags, they were able to throw away a lot more garbage than what they were paying for. So at this point in time, I don't think we should be considering adding a 3rd bag. At some point in time, if we want to consider that, we can. I believe there are options for that, but we have issues in terms of storage and the like. And for all these years, the program seemed to work pretty well with those 2 size bags. And for a few people who were using much larger bags, and I know one individual who wrote to us had been using 42-gallon bags since 1995. So he's gotten quite a deal. But I think that's something we can possibly look at in the future, but I'm not sure I'm right now, at least at this point in time, interested in introducing a third colored bag into the mix. I don't know about you, Bob, but
No, I'm fine with the current arrangement.
right. And if they have a lot of garbage, then they use 2 bags, which is what they should have been using all along. So I'm fine with that. And I think, we need to have a discussion in terms of moving forward. Obviously we renew the program for seniors every year. And we'll probably have that discussion probably, in the one of the upcoming meetings to just reinstitutionalize that program, since we vote on that every year. So other than that, I mean, Bob, do you have any questions or concerns, or
No, I think,
anything you
talking to
want
the
to bring
the
forward,
guys
or
at the
Randy?
transfer station, there are things that come up, and I think Randy's done a good job of directing them and handling it. And we expected some bumps in the road, so none of this is surprising. But there have been no showstoppers, and we'll just continue to see how it goes for till July 1st.
Yep, sounds good. All
And
right,
I
well,
think,
thank you.
I think like we discussed previously too, maybe in June, may have an extra staff person up there or a volunteer or something like that to assist and,
Yep.
swapping out stickers, something like that. And maybe after July 1st, another person there to just stay at the compactors and just work with people that are trying to use stickers, trying to use up their stickers. Explain to them that, as of July 1st, it's bags that, we'll come up with a policy there, but it's going to be, we'll transition people into it. I mean, that's the goal.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
sounds good. Thanks, Randy. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Randy.
Have a nice night.
Thank you.
All right, next up on our agenda is a discussion concerning lots 7 and 8 in Meadow Road, map 4.d, parcel 101 and 101.1, a request from Dillis and Roy to install drainage structures in the right of way. It says Ryan Proctor, are you with us? And I know Todd, I thank you for taking time out to join this portion of the meeting. And I know you, Todd, you and I spoke last week on this particular item. So
Correct.
so do we have someone from Dillis and Roy, or
Ryan
Yes,
is here
sir.
with us.
Yeah, Ryan Proctor from Dillis and Roy here, and the owner, Mohammed Al Hassan, is on this call as well.
Hello, this is Mohammed Al Hassan.
Good
good
evening.
evening, how are you saying?
Good evening, guys.
Very good. I know this project is new before you. Would you like me to do a brief overview? I'm happy to share my screen if that would be helpful.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. I mean, I've talked to Todd about it, but perhaps for Bob and some of the other folks, just a quick overview might be helpful.
Absolutely. Jenny, do I have the ability to share my screen?
I can give that to you. One moment.
Thank you.
All right, you should be all set.
All right. Okay, so I've got the site plan up here. As everyone can see the screen here with the plan.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, great. So as mentioned, the property we're looking at is lots 7 and 8 Meadow Road, which is identified as map 4D, parcels 101 and 101.1. We have been working with the planning board through the Shade Tree and Scenic Road hearing process for several months now. There's been a few iterations of the plan. It is a shared driveway providing access to 2 A&R lots. And among the discussions relative to the tree removal and the removal of the stone wall, partial removal of the stone wall, which is the nature of the Scenic Road hearing, there have been several concerns relative to drainage entering the roadway, which is one of the design criteria for a shared driveway. So the shared driveway, as we have it laid out now, is going to be a switchback off of Meadow Road, and we have several upgradient stormwater controls, including a stormwater basin, a stone recharge trench, and then what we're here for tonight is at the bottom of the driveway here, we have 2 catch basins just below the existing stone wall that will capture runoff coming down the driveway around the switchback and then discharging to an existing swale along Meadow Road. We do propose some regrading of that swale and then installing that in a French drain to encourage the stormwater to flow towards an existing outlet culvert to the west, down west of Meadow Road. So that's a very brief overview. I know you said you had some, you've talked to some people about the project, so I'm happy to answer any questions or comments that you may have at this time.
Well, I guess this is Stan. I mean, from my perspective, I guess the issue is drainage control in the town's right of way.
Yep.
Is that not correct, Todd?
I'm sorry.
That is correct, sir. Yes.
Yeah, and so you want to put this in the town's right of way, so it then becomes, I guess, the town's responsibility down the road to maintain this. And I don't know if you've had any conversations with our DPW director, but I mean, your issue to mitigate is to put the onus now on the town to maintain this for forever. So I guess that's where seems to be a bit of an issue. And I guess also just the magnitude of the amount of stone wall you want to take down and the number of trees you want to cut for a shared driveway. It seems excessive, but that's another topic for another day. But right now we're here about the structures that are being proposed to be put in the town's right away, and who is going to maintain that over time.
Yeah, so these structures, as well as the upgrading structures, the basin and the stone trenches, will be part of a shared driveway agreement when the lots are conveyed. So the intent is to have them maintained by the future homeowners of the property, and that'll be in an operation and maintenance agreement that is deeded to the properties and referenced in the future deeds of the site.
Including the stuff that's in the town right away?
That's right. Yes, sir. So my understanding, the way we left it with the planning board, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago. We are not here tonight seeking site plan approval. We are seeking permission to install the structures within the right of way, and then location and sizing and any of the design controls are going to be worked out with the planning board. And Todd, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but that was my understanding after the last meeting with the planning board.
That's correct. That's correct.
Chairman, I'm not a lawyer, obviously, so maybe this is a silly question, but I've never seen something like this before. So how can something that's in the town right away be deeded just to a third party?
Yeah.
That has been one of the concerns. And I know we've talked about this with Randy and with the planning board as well. This is a first for me also, so I guess I'm here seeking guidance as much as we are a verbal approval, I suppose.
Given that question from Mr. Lowe, I don't think you're going to get any verbal approval tonight about anything.
Well, even if it's deeded to the landowners, when the town thinks something needs to be done, there's no mechanism to force the landowners to respond. Even if the landowners have responsibility for it, there's nothing that's going to force them 10, 15, the second or third landowners down the road is going to force them to respond if the town feels that this is not properly maintained. And the town has no recourse. There's nothing in our bylaws to deal with something like this. So aside from the question of can you do it, how can the deed include it? I don't see where it's in any way enforceable. And it's unacceptable from that point of view to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Perhaps,
Mr. Proctor could provide the town with some proposed wording, to support the concept that he's got here, and we could have council review it, but other than that, I think you're talking at a very abstract level.
Well, before we go down that path, I think that this would be an unfortunate precedent. If the town resources are now involved in dealing with all kinds of new construction runoff. And I think it would be unfortunate to proceed with this. And the reason I'm bringing that up is I don't know that even if there's a deed, even if there's a legal way to do this, that the town wants to do this. I think this is a bad precedent.
I share your concern, Bob. I really do.
We've seen before, once you allow someone to do something, you think it's a one-off, but someone else goes, well, my project's the same except for this small detail. And now you're in a situation where you really don't have any control over what's happening. So I think this is a bad precedent to set.
I understand.
There's no other way to deal with the water on site?
We're dealing with a large portion of it. We did do stormwater analysis, comparing the pre and post-developed runoff rates. We are reducing the amount of stormwater leaving the site. However, Bolton's bylaw stipulates that a new driveway cannot discharge any stormwater into a right-of-way. And this site is very steep. It's approximately a 2-to-1 slope coming right off Meadow Road. And the right-of-way line, which is this dark line here right on the stone wall, and I'm tracing with my cursor here, is the property line. And the edge of the road is 30 feet down. So there's a lot of real estate between the edge of the road and the property line. That is town property. So capturing all that stormwater is proving to be challenging.
I mean, I have to agree with everything that Bob said. This is kind of a dangerous precedent for the town to be doing this. And also, I don't see what mechanism we have to be able to enforce it, even if we did do it. And I don't know how you can deed something that the town owns to somebody else. That's the third piece. So,
I mean, when we talked with the DPW director, he actually didn't have that much of an issue.
that's not
Entirely accurate. The DPW director did say, and the board has a memo to that effect, that he would want to see all of the appropriate bylaws followed, or applicable bylaws, which includes the water runoff into the road. And he also did have concerns about, as both select board members have said, going forward, the town will be responsible for the maintenance and or replacement of those structures over time. So it's a liability that the town is assuming. Or would assume, I should say.
Yes.
Randy has his hand up.
yes, Randy.
Yeah, I just want to state that I have been out there multitude of times. We met with Ryan and Mr. Hassan, I don't know, 2 or 3 times as well, going back and forth. And I'm not comfortable with the structures that are in the right of way. I mean, the regulations say no water onto the pavement, not the right of way. The design tries to control that. I'm not comfortable with the structures in the right of way, but if there was a way to ensure that they're going to be maintained, I've made it clear all along I didn't want to maintain them, because especially if there's a problem, it's going to happen in the wintertime. And it's going to be, ultimately, we're going to be the ones in there trying to fix it because the homeowners that are there it's going to be 10 or 15 years down the road. None of the maintenance has been done. They have no desire to take care of it because they're minimally impacted, where it's the traveling public on Meadow Road that is going to be most impacted by an icing situation. Myself and member of the planning board and Rebecca too, we met individually just having a brainstorming session, see if we could come up with other ideas. And it goes back to my memo to the board where I said, this lot is not unusual compared to several other lots on this stretch of road that were all created by the NR process. There's an existing lot, I think 2 next door, where water is coming down the driveway and creating real problems all winter long. And it's a mess. The edge of the road is a mess, and the road was a mess. And we've had to expend, town resources to go out there and cut the ice and treat it, and et cetera. It needs to have some kind of neighborhood solution. You can't be looking at each lot individually. It needs a neighborhood solution. And what that is, I'm not sure yet. But I think
that's a planning board issue, not a select board issue.
That is correct.
Right.
Took the words out of my mouth, sir.
All right. So, as I sit here right now, I see 3 different kinds of problems. One are the engineering problems about moving the water and maintaining the swale. The second is a legal problem about what ownership means and what it means to have a reference to that right of way in the homeowner's deed. That's ambiguous. And the third is, as a matter of policy, the 2 select board members do not believe at this time that we should be using town right of way to solve these water problems. So there's 3 different levels there's 3 separate types of problems that are presenting themselves here. And I don't think any of them are going to get resolved tonight.
No, I think that this has to go back for further research and analysis before it can come back to us. Because we're in no position to be making any decisions or giving any type of verbal okays about anything tonight.
Understood. Just to ask, if we were to eliminate the catch basins but still utilize a restored swale on the side of Meadow Road, would that be something you'd be potentially agreeable? Where we don't actually have any physical precast structures, where if we did something overland flow but still propose those swale improvements, would that be something more desirable?
To me, that's all you're doing is moving the catch basins to the other side of the line, and you've got the same issues in terms of using the town right away.
Right. Any other option, this would need to go and be looked at the DPW director and the planning board. I mean, you can propose any number of alternatives. We're not going to give any yay or nay or thumbs up or thumbs down about anything tonight.
Okay, no, I understand that. No, absolutely.
Very premature. So you would need to go back and do that research if there's some alternative solution that you'd like to come back to us with. But what we see here doesn't seem to be working.
No, I understand completely.
Where does Todd, maybe you can, where does the planning board stand on all of this? Since
That was, given the fact that all this arose during the process of the scenic road and shade tree hearing, this particular item for the drainage and whatnot, it hasn't been reviewed by the planning board within that capacity. All of this sprang up from their repeated visits during the shade tree and scenic road. And in service to the scenic road bylaw, we didn't want to provide written consent for the removal of 40 feet of stone wall along with some almost 24 trees. given the fact that this is a precursor to that shared driveway development, which
Right.
has the burdens that you've already seen here. So in service to preserving trees and stone wall, that's why we kept that scenic road hearing open, but we wanted to have the Board of Selectmen weigh in on the right of way issue before that hearing closed.
No, I appreciate that. And I would assume that scenic road hearing will remain open until there's some resolution or closure to this particular item.
Correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay. I don't believe there's anything else that we can really talk about this evening. I think people need to go back and do some homework, then come back to us. But I think we've discussed the various issues that you have before you, and whether you can even legally do what you want to do from a deed transfer perspective.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you kindly, everyone. I appreciate you fielding this. I do.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. So
Anytime.
let us know when you have something, and we'd be happy to put you on the schedule to come back and chat with us.
All right. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Everyone,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you
Have a good night.
very much.
Take care.
Thanks, Todd. Appreciate it.
Always.
Okay, next up is the town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr.
It's
Chairman.
all about you.
Oh, yes, it literally is all about me tonight. I guess the first comment I'm going to make is, we established these goals nearly a year ago. I don't know what I was thinking when I agreed to 11 goals, because I think that's a personal best for me, but I think it's been a very good year, and I'm going to take a walk through each of them. Number one, identify and implement interactive enhancements on our website to help increase public engagement. We've done that in various ways, not the least of which is specifically Jenny worked very hard to help the COA completely remake their webpage with new colors, new artwork, much easier to use for the public that's trying to access the webpage. There's been significant improvement, I would say, on that page. We do a number of enhancements as things pop up, not necessarily break fix, but we see an opportunity to adjust things, and we do that without necessarily keeping a log of them. But one, I think, major enhancement that has been done in the collector's office, and I'm going to talk just a little bit about that as well. So Michelle Carlisle, our tax collector, as I'm sure both of you know, implemented a QR code on excise tax bills to facilitate a customer's online payment, which brings obviously more people to the webpage. The benefits of that were the customer can pay 24/7. The customer is less likely to require support from the staff. Money movement and reporting is automated, and we're simply handling less cash. Beyond that, for the current excise tax cycle, as of March 26, 2023, we've had a 248% increase in online payments. Last year at this time, we had 450. This year, we've had to date 1,116. And we believe that we're going to be seeing more and more residents signing up for online services. There's been a very, very, very favorable response so far there. And what Michelle and some of the support staff have been testing is the ability to expand beyond excise tax bills, to expand to real estate and personal property bills as well. And we have plans in place to utilize the QR code on that as well to bring even more people to the webpage and try to streamline those processes as well. So I think we've made a lot of we've covered a lot of ground and made a lot of significant improvements in FY23 in that area. Secondly, we continue to successfully manage capital planning process, including a 3-year plan with identified funding sources. Obviously, you've both seen the 1-year plan. And beyond that, I produced a 5-year plan. And while there are not identified funding sources for the outlying years, I can tell you that I see no grants available for what we have in the pipeline. We will have, as you already saw earlier tonight, limited ARPA funds remaining. So for FY25 and the outlying years, we're looking at being back, where we were before ARPA funds, which is essentially funding items through free cash, through an article at town meeting, or potentially, depending on what the item is, a borrowing. So we're really back to where we were a couple of years ago. There will be some ARPA funds, but not a ton of them. We're utilizing most of them this year. So it's really going to be free cash or borrowing in the outlying years. And if a grant does come up that we're not aware of right now, that we haven't seen right now, obviously that will be explored. But our options are somewhat limited. Present recommendations for ARPA funded projects. We've done that on an ongoing basis, as well as tonight at next week's meeting. At next month's meeting, I will be doing a presentation to you to ask you to formally vote on the ARPA funding for the projects that are in the FY24 capital plan. You've seen the number, but I haven't asked you to vote on that yet. So the plan will be to do that at the next meeting. Present and begin to implement long-range plan for improvements to town-owned buildings. We did originally have some work targeted for FY23, but given the surprises we've had in the public safety building and the library and the town hall, in discussing with Randy the work that we had looked at trying to get done in 23, we pushed out to 24. So we did have some targeted, we did have a plan for that. There's only so many cycles to manage so many things. So that did get pushed into the FY24 plan. Mm-hmm. Present and begin to implement long-range plan for culvert repairs. That is literally the only thing on here that isn't complete. As you may recall, we received a grant from DEP that allowed us to hire an intern to start doing the mapping and inventorying and that type of thing for the culverts. Unfortunately, DEP didn't get us the paperwork for the grant until August. And by the time that all got signed off, we had limited time left for our intern. So we'll have an intern coming back, hopefully the same intern. If not, we will have an intern once college gets out to resume the activity. So we'll be able to produce that plan next year for the culvert repairs, but we have nothing to work off of because the inventory is it's underway, but there's a lot of ground that still needs to be covered. We just had an unfortunate delay with DEP. Work with the advisory committee to assist the budget process for FY23. I believe I did that, worked very closely with Brian Boyle, attended some of the advisory meetings that certainly all the ones that I needed to be to. Any of the department heads knew if they wanted me to come, I would go, but they're comfortable with presenting their own budgets for the most part. So I tended to not go to those, but I have been working very closely with Brian and have been to the year-end ones for the capital planning and the discussion last week for how we would deal with the budget as a whole. So I've been very comfortable with that. Managing any necessary modifications to current processes relative to COVID-19, if necessary. Really wasn't necessary. We had pretty solid processes in place. The pandemic has certainly wound down over FY23, but I didn't find it necessary to make any adjustments. for COVID-19. Support the master plan committee as needed. Certainly have done that on an ongoing basis. I've met with Bob Romer, Brian Boyle, Penny Gherkin multiple times, and helped with also advocating for the $70,000 for the board to contribute towards the master plan process in case we didn't get the grant, which we got. So we were able to reallocate that $70,000, but that was money well spent by the board, which enabled us to get a consultant that we otherwise up to that point had not been able to obtain any consulting services. Examine the interdepartmental processes and apply synergistic improvements. In a nutshell, what that means is we have greatly expanded our use of Viewpoint internally. When we first got Viewpoint, we really viewed it as a permitting tool and how we could make things, easier for the inspectors and for the public to pull permits. We've used it in several different areas. It's made us a lot more versatile. We are using it for street sign requests. We're using it to automate our turnover processes to make sure the turnovers are cleaner. And Parks and Rec have been using it quite a bit to help track programs and collection of funds and that type of thing. So it has made us more efficient and will continue to do so. As we've learned, as we've gotten more into Viewpoint and we've learned more about it, we're seeing more opportunities to continue expanding the use. So it's a lot more versatile than we thought it was when we obtained it. And as a reminder, we did obtain the software and the tablets for the inspectors through a grant. So Viewpoint was not an expense that the town paid for. This has all been paid for through grant funding. So again, very successful there. Number 10, begin a feasibility study of a rear egress from the Florence Sawyer campus. I've been out there a few times. I've walked the site with Rebecca. The concept in my head last year was that there were likely two opportunities, one to go out on Berlin Road, another to go out on Wattaquatic. I have since, Rebecca has shown me that really there is no way to get out to Wattaquatic without either going through wetlands. There's a lot of wetlands there, or somehow infringing on Memorial Field or around there. So Wattaquatic truly is not what I would call a feasible alternative. But if you look at access to Berlin Road, there are two, as I see it, options to get onto Berlin Road. One would be, it would be a shorter span, but covering a bit more of what's the word I'm looking for? Covering, having a longer span. I mean, having more height that we have to span, or a section option which would have less wetlands to cross. But it's basically both avenues would go out onto Berlin Road. Obviously, there's been no money allocated for engineering for this. So since it's a feasibility study, my determination is it is certainly feasible. I mean, and yes, you could say, well, anything's feasible with enough money. But that being said, what is realistic as well as feasible? And I think we have two options to get onto Berlin Road, which we would not require. We would not need an easement from anyone if we can cross town-owned land. I am pursuing a possibility of funding for engineering to take this to the next step. I haven't concluded that process yet, so I don't want to create false hope, but I think we have a realistic opportunity to obtain some funding that would allow us to get this engineered. When I've looked at trying to access federal money to do the engineering, the feedback that I've gotten from Congresswoman Trahan's office is where the federal grants are now, and they don't use the term shovel ready anymore. But they want to see that there's already been engineering work done. And that work has been performed, and now we can take it to the next level if we have funds to do the project, that we're ready to implement them. My feedback has been that this is not an insignificant amount of engineering. You're probably looking at least $100,000, my guess would be, to engineer this. And I think I'm not comfortable making a recommendation to the board at this point that we, for instance, use $100,000 in ARPA funds for a project that may never go forward. I would have a serious concern about that, which is why I'm trying to shake every tree and bush that I can to try to find some money to perform engineering. And as I said, I haven't got a final answer on that yet, but I'm feeling optimistic. So I'm hoping to be able to expand on that, but the feasibility is essentially done. It is feasible. I think we have a couple of options, and I think we would need an engineer to tell us which makes the most sense.
Ron, have you gotten any feedback from the general public on this idea?
I've gotten minimal feedback, but when I discuss it with people, I'm not sure how many people are really aware that this is being looked at. I will tell you that the superintendent of schools is very excited. And when I have discussed it with people and they've asked me why I'm looking at it, it's really, as you know, it's a safety issue, and it not solely for if we had a major event at a school, whether it's an intruder of some sort or whatever. But that's certainly what was in my head when I first started talking about this. But also, we've only got that one means of egress over Mechanic Street. We could have some sort of a natural disaster, we could have a tornado come through, and trees come down all across Mechanic, all across that whole area, and we've got no way to get kids out of there.
Yeah.
Literally no way. So aside from, and as I said, an intruder was what was in my head as to try to make it a safer campus. And I'd like to think that will help us open up some funding to actually implement this if it gets that far. When I do discuss this with people get very excited. They're very, very supportive of the idea and would like to see it go to the next level. And then finally, have discussions with the Board of Trustees of the library to make the library meeting room more accessible for regularly scheduled municipal public meetings. I have met with the trustees. I've spoken one-on-one with the chair, and also I've met with the board. The first step in the process was we had approval to have the caucus held earlier this month. And the Board of Trustees are working on a final policy that will allow for regularly scheduled meetings Monday night through Thursday night. And I've been told that once they complete the policy, it will be communicated to me for my input, and then hopefully implemented. So we had the first tangible results of this, as I said, with the caucus. And the trustees have been, I think, very, very favorable in wanting to put something in place for Monday night through Thursday night. So I thought it was a productive meeting that I had with them. And then lastly, and it's not on this list, but from several of the updates that I've given, I've done a lot of work along with staff, of course, on the Derby Field project. And Derby Field is not on my goals, but I saw an opportunity that first arose when we were negotiating with Wood Partners for 580 Main Street, and they contributed $50,000 towards the improvement of Derby Field. And once we started digging into that, we saw what the opportunities are. As recently as this morning, we had a team meeting. The MVP grant is now application is out, and they're taking applications until May 4th. We've got, I think, a really good grant submittal to go in. I think when all is said and done, we're going to be requesting approximately $600,000 in grant funding. There's a 25% match that needs to be done, but between what we've got from Wood Partners and staff time, which counts for in-kind matches, I think we're going to be able to cover most, if not all, of the matching funds. So if we're successful and I'm correct, we could pull off this Derby Field upgrade with little to no funding additional funding from the taxpayers, which I think would be wonderful. So having walked through this, I feel it's been a very productive year. I feel good about this year. The only one that wasn't completed was the inventory for the culverts, and we just haven't been able to get that inventory completed yet. But I am happy to take any comments or questions that you have.
No, I think Don, it's been a very good year. A lot of things have moved forward, and it's certainly not for a lack of effort on the culvert stuff.
Yeah, there've been a lot of things accomplished with it's worth saying, with minimal controversy. So that's good. People have been working together cooperatively, and the results have been good.
Yeah.
Yep.
The staff works extremely well together. As far as Derby Field goes, I have to keep on saying Rob Frieswick, who's the facilities manager for the school district, has been an excellent resource. He gives whatever time we ask to meet with us and share his expertise, which is significant. So I've shared that with the superintendent, that Rob has been a significant player on our team.
Yeah, that's
very good.
Well, I just want to say, well, one, Don, you've done a great job. I also want to put a plug in. We have a great, not only town hall staff, but everybody who works for the town does a fabulous job. And they all should be commended. And I think in large part it's due to you, Don, for your management of the staff. So thank you very much for everything that you do for us.
Thank you, Stan. I appreciate that.
Okay. All right, now get back to work, Don.
All right, break is over.
We're done. Go back to work. All right, if nothing else, thank you, Don. We'll go back to select board business. Any public service announcements?
Just there is still opportunities to tour the high school if you want to get the insider's view of what the physical condition of that building is. You will have access to parts of the building that are normally off limits to the public. The tour that's available is at 10 o'clock this Saturday morning. You can enroll. There's still spots available. You can enroll for it by going to the website for the high school building committee and clicking on the calendar for the tour at 10 a.m. on Saturday.
Bob, if I may, I would want to confirm that on the website, because I believe the two tours, there was going to be a 10 and a 12 o'clock tour. And
only the 10 is available. They've been consolidated into the 10 o'clock.
Okay, great. I thought that in case the public was confused, I just wanted to point that out.
No, I only referred to the 10 o'clock tour.
Right. And there is no tour on the 29th of April. That's been canceled.
That's correct. That's been moved to September.
Yeah. Yeah, your description of it, Bob, is like historic New England, where you get to see the houses and never before seen portions of these historic.
Well, with any luck, this will be the last chance to see any of this stuff if things go well.
All right, well, that's great. Any future agenda items to?
No, thank you.
I don't have any for this evening. All right, next up is the approval of the 15th annual procession of the cross from Harvard to Bolton on Friday, April 7th, 2023. We have some information in our packets. I didn't think it was necessary to have the folks from the church to come in. It's something that they do every year. And Jenny, I'm assuming the chief has been informed and he's hunky-dory with this?
Yes.
Okay, All right,
So I move to approve the 15th annual procession of the cross from Harvard to Bolton on Friday, April 7th, 2023.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye. When we said, when we told Don to get back to work, we meant you too, Jenny.
Yeah, come on, let's go.
Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye,
Thank you.
slacking off already. Jeez. Okay. Next up.
Just
is-
fooling Jenny, just fooling.
Next up is discussion and vote on the remaining ATM warrant articles. I'm not sure what we have left to do, but let's.
You just have Article 3 to vote now that you have the numbers, the final numbers in it.
Okay. All righty, well, I guess we have the numbers. Got my warrant up here, so and anybody got any questions? Otherwise, if those are the good numbers, let's just let's go for it.
I move to approve, recommend approval of Article 3.
I will
Oh, no,
second in
Stan,
favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Hello. Aye. Okay. I don't, and maybe I was just zoned out, but did we ever vote to approve the select board statement? Because I don't remember us doing that the last meeting.
that's a good
Funny that you,
question.
it's funny that you say that, because when I did the minutes, you did not approve it. But I had a memory that perhaps we did it in an earlier meeting, but I might be mistaken for the annual report.
Yeah, we did it for the annual report.
Yeah.
We didn't do it for the statement.
Yeah, you guys breezed by it.
Well, I guess at this point, we have to vote to close the warrant too tonight, don't we?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, I move to approve the select board statement.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty.
Should I move to close the warrant or do we need to have another step?
No, I think your next step would be to vote to close and sign the warrant.
I move to close the warrant for the annual town meeting.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you. And I will let you guys know when that's ready to be signed, because I need to put in today's vote. So don't come in until you've heard from me.
Okie dokie.
She'll be busy working.
Next up is to approve the bills and the payroll warrants, W 23-19 and W 23-19A.
So moved.
So I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
And we have no regular session minutes, but we will be approving some minutes in executive session.
That's correct.
There you go. So next up is an executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, 21A, Section 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with the Teamsters Union, Local 170, if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigation position of the Board of Selectmen, and the chair so declares, and to approve executive session minutes. We will be, after that, we will be coming out of executive session to potentially execute the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Bolton and the Teamsters Union Local 170 for July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
the select board execute the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Bolton and the Teamsters Union Local 170 for July 1st, 2022 through June 30th, 2024, and authorize the town administrator to sign the contract on behalf of this select board after receiving a signed copy from the Teamsters Union.
I will second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Roll call Sikansky
Aye.
and Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Anything else?
I'm good.
The most
Aye.
important thing,
Pardon me?
the most important thing.
Yes, I move to adjourn.
All right, I'll second that. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Roll call Sikansky,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
The time for the record is 8:30.
On the
We're
nose.
exactly on time.
Yeah.
That is time management.
There you go.
And Stan and Bob, before you go, I just want to thank you for a good year. I mean, the year's not over yet, but looking at the goals and what we've accomplished over the past year, I want to thank you both.
We made a lot
Thank
of
you.
progress in a lot of different areas. It was very good.
And we pissed off just the right amount of people.
Okay.